Hello and good morning, my dear students, and welcome back. Today would be our final video on domain and range, and I would be explaining you guys domain and range with two examples, as you can see here on the board. So let's look at the first example. This is y is equal to the negative of x minus 3, square root x minus 3 plus 6. Let me make the negative dark so you guys know this is a negative. And let's try to figure out the domain and the range. So the first step what I did was I knew that a square root here, we have a square root here. A square root can never have a negative number inside. Okay, so the radicand cannot be negative in a square root or even root. So I started finding the domain by setting this x minus 3 as greater than equal to 0. I found the values of x which are possible to be substituted here. As you can see, x can take anything greater than or equal to 3 as well, because if we put x as 3, we will get a 0 inside, which is fine. The next step was to find the range. Now I took some random values and I started finding the outputs. So for example, I took x as 3, 4, 7, 6, 12. Obviously these are random values we can take. I already knew that after 3, the graph will go to the right? Which you can see here. The beginning point is 3, 6, means the x coordinate is 3, the y coordinate is 6, okay? And then the graph definitely would go towards the right, because the domain is x is greater than or equal to 3, right? Now look at the range. As you can see, as we go towards the right, the graph, the value of y increases. You can see that, right? So this means that 6, after 6, the value of y will keep on increasing, including 6, I'm sorry, right? 6 is included. Therefore, the range in interval notation is from 6 to infinity, including 6, hence we have a square bracket. This is very important. This means including the endpoint. In our case, the endpoint is 6. And if the endpoint is negative infinity or infinity, we always use a parenthesis. I hope this is very clear, right? Now there's one thing I want to point here. You know that our parent function y is equal to square root of x, right? It had a shape similar, right? Except that it was starting from the origin and then going towards, for example, so 1 and 1, 2 and let's say 4 and 2. It was something like this, right? This is y is equal to square root of x. You see, this function, okay, somehow resembles the parent function. The children, they resemble the parents. So in the function, any modified function, in this case there is a modification, right? Instead of square root of x, it's square root of x minus 3. Instead of plus 0, it's a plus 6. Hence you see the changes in the position, right? So this is something I wanted to point out. Let's move on to the next example. Y is equal to negative 4. This is a negative again. This is a negative. Negative 4 multiplied by the absolute of x plus 5 and then absolute close plus 8. Let's think about, is there any value of x which is not possible to use? Well, the answer for that is we can use any x value, because every x value will give us an output as long as it's a real value, right? The only thing is that this absolute value, okay, will disregard any negative sign, okay? So let's look at this. So domain, as I said, this is the inequality starting from negative infinity till infinity. We already discussed that. Now let's discuss the range, guys. If you look at this function, can I write it as y is equal to 8 minus 4 x plus 5 minus 4, I'm sorry, absolute x plus 5? Yes, I can, because it doesn't matter. We are just we're just swapping the place of the terms. That doesn't matter, it's going to remain the same, right? You can see that something is being subtracted from 8 every time, and even if this x plus 5 is a negative value, it will end up being positive. So negative 4 times any positive will always give you a negative. So means any value except if this is 0, except this, if this part is 0, right? Any other x value will give us a value which is less than 8, will give us a y value which is less than 8. So let me repeat myself on this, let me rephrase it. So if this is 0, then of course y is 8, right? Because 8 minus 0 is 8. Any other x value you choose, except the x value where this is 0, okay, it will always give you a y value which is less than 8, because in other words, always something is being subtracted from 8. So you can see that the maximum of this function is 8, the y value is 8, right? At the x value of negative 5, we already discussed that, right? But any other value will give you a y value less than 8, right? Look at this, guys. Look at the shape of this graph. Why does it turn out to be like that? You know that we have already in our parent functions learned about how does a y is equal to absolute of x look like. We have already learned that, right? It was somewhat like this, right? There is a resemblance. Again, resemblance because of the parent function. I hope this lesson was very clear, because in the next videos we will move on to other kinds of functions. And thank you so very much. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to email me. My email is posted here. I hope it's clear. Thank you, guys.